grid. So everyone back? Waiting for Madhukar. Yes. We are with the grid. What is meant by grid? What is a Selenium grid? Selenium grid. Okay, Selenium grid is nothing but, so it helps to run the particular test case parallelly. So how this particular concept works means, for an example, okay, so we have 4,000 test cases. These 4,000 test cases we need to execute. If at all, if you wanted to execute in the QTP, so actually I will explain here in terms of QTP or any other automation, commercial tools, Silk test or coded UI. So any tools if you wanted to execute, and here the Selenium how it will execute. This side, okay. So if at all the QTP, there will be only one instances. Instance means for once only we can open QTP window on your machine. So if at all if you start any automation in the program, then you can't do any operations on your system. You need to dedicate that machine. So this is similar for QTP, Silk test and coded UI. And one by one means after one test case, second test case. After this test case, next test case. After this test case, next test case. In this particular way, it will execute. Do you think like for execution of 4,000 test cases, how much time it will take? And that means I wanted to execute first 1,000 test cases on IE, okay, and then I wanted to execute on Firefox, and I wanted to execute on Chrome, and then I wanted to execute on Safari. So total means these 1,000 test cases once here, once here, once here, once here. So once after completion of these 1,000 test cases, for example, it takes 8 hours. So 8 hours for this one, and then 8 hours, and then 8 hours, and then 8 hours. I'm giving very rough figure, 8 hours. So 8 fours are 32 hours. So 32, 8 fours are alert. 32 hours it will take. But when it comes to the Selenium, at one shot, there is a concept, as I said, there is a hub and node. And here we have 4 nodes. Okay. Here I will pass 1,000 to this, 1,000 to this, 1,000 to this, 1,000 to this, and all this can be done in a single system. So executing the test cases parallelly, okay, one means parallelly in the different nodes, that is called Selenium grid. So grid is useful to do the parallel execution. Yes.
What if any test case fails in between?
See, that is called your error management, means how you are handling your errors and exception. For the error, exception and handling, we will be having a concept called recovery scenario. What is meant by recovery scenario? If at all suddenly your test case failed, totally you have 100 test cases. On 50th test case, the test case has been failed. Now, what it will do means, if it's a priority smoke test cases, it was different. Now I'm talking in regression suit. Smoke suit is different, regression suit is different. In the regression suit, if it fails on 50th test cases, it will come back to the stable state. Okay, if I go to the means so if at all if this fails, then it will go stop the execution, send the results to the people stating that this is failed, and remaining it will automatically initiate and it will go the execution until and unless whatever the test case status you have given yes. So this is called recovery scenario. Actually, if it is in the Silk test tool, there is a standard registered system. How means there will be having a stable state, base state, like that. So base state is nothing but where you start your application execution. it will by default it will go there and stop the execution, and it will come back for next test case and it will move further. Similar action will be done. So this is called error recovery system. And these all things we need to mention. System doesn't know anything. Tool doesn't know anything. We need to tell to the machine, this is the way you need to work. This is the way you need to execute. Okay. So this is your recoveries. So here, yeah.
Like we told, we have a node. We have 4,000 test cases. We distributed in 1,000 test cases. So I have 1,000 cases, 1,000 test cases. I want to check all the 1,000 test cases. The same test cases in different browser, right? Chrome. Then how do we manage the load and all?
That's where we have separate topic of Selenium grid. So once we go there, I will let you know how to configure this hub and nodes and how we can assign the test cases. So all these things we will discuss in detail in Selenium grid. So Selenium grid we shouldn't miss, definitely we can't miss that one. So in future, in further sessions, we are going to discuss what is a Selenium WebDriver and how we have to work on Selenium WebDriver, and what is a Selenium grid and how we are going to work on this one. In detailed level of discussion we are going to do on these things. But we don't discuss much more about RC because it's already outdated, and about IDE. Anyways, we don't use that one. Because the Selenium WebDriver itself, it's a mature tool. That's a parent tool. If you know parent, why you are bothering about the child tool? So that's the reason we don't bother about these two. But grid and WebDriver, we will go in detail and we will study. But before understanding what is the Selenium WebDriver and the grid, you should know Java concepts. If not, you can't do that. See, if I tell like you can set some capabilities, based on the capabilities, you just drag the property file. In the property files, all the objects are declared, and the objects you will be doing some inheritance and poly overriding. You can do that. So what do you understand? You tell me. For writing the code also, you need to understand the concepts of OOPs. Like for example, object-oriented programming, we have 4 things: encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. First, you